Episode 4122, What If You Lowered the Bar?
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. Welcome to a brand new week. Can you believe it? You made it. It's officially almost. How do you like that? Almost officially? Yes. Middle of July. School is around the corner, but you know what? It doesn't matter. You've got stuff to do. So the question remains today, what if you lowered the bar? For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. Well, how are you hanging? Was it a great weekend? We got a lot of rain and it was really, really humid. And on top of that, after the rain came, then it got more humid, then it got even more hot. And you're like, why did I even take a shower? Do you ever have those days where you're like, why did I get up and expend the energy to wash myself only to know that I need to take about 2 more showers before I go to bed because you just feel sticky, you know? And that stickiness can kind of lead into what we do throughout the day, right? It has this lingering feel. And so I got to thinking, no, how can humidity and rain bring me to this? Oh, inquiring minds want to know. And I know you want to know. So question is this, how much of your time is wasted feeling overwhelmed while trying to do everything with excellence? Because I know excellence is always great, right? You want to do that. You want to do well, but maybe, just maybe, good is enough. Expectations are hard to reach. I know. I've experienced them. Thank you, Father. You gave him to me. And he raised the bar, set the bar high. I mean, the ceiling was out of this world. Good thing and bad thing all wrapped into one. But the thing is this, when we look at expectations, they can be really challenging for us individually, especially when we're the ones setting the bar for absolutely everything. I mean, when we say, I have to have this a certain way, our everyday can become really, really messed up. So what if you lowered the bar? Because as you know, standards are a double-edged sword. You know that. I don't have to tell you that. They can work to your advantage. They can push you to grow, to care about your output, to take pride in what you produce. Those are all good things. However, standards can also become a stumbling block, one that holds you hostage to procrastination and overwhelm, the stuff that sets you back, the stuff that allows you to hold on to those excuses and say, yeah, no, not quite yet, because. But here's something to seriously consider. Some things done good are enough. Not everything needs to be excellent. And we're going to talk about this. Hang in there because we're going to talk about some toilets, if I can remember. That came to mind when I was writing this, and I don't know why. But, TMI, let's enjoy a toilet talk. But, they say, you talk around the water cooler, you have those water cooler conversations. Well, maybe for us today, it's the toilet conversations. But seriously, look at how you prioritize your to-do list right now. What does it look like? If everything that's on it is equally important, how do you ever actually get anything done? And if you're like me, if everything is equally important, because most of the time it is, I'm being honest, right? These episodes are not just for you. I might be a little selfish here too. I need to learn. I need to grow. We can do it together. And if everything that is equally important, how do you ever actually get it done? How do you get beyond that point of, I just need a little bit more time? No wonder you're stressed out. No wonder there are not enough hours in the day to do everything. I know it, guilty as charged. When every task is a 10 out of 10, you have no way to know where to spend your best energy. And that's the key, best energy. So you either freeze or you burn out trying to be excellent at everything all at once, all the time, every day, in and out. Well, the fix isn't working harder. And I know we try that because if you're a person of influence, a woman of impact, I'm pushing ahead, creating transformation. I had to think about what it was. It's pretty bad when you're the one who creates the acronym and you're like, wait, what did I need to say there? I'm pushing ahead, creating transformation, right? A woman of impact. That's who you are. And if that is who you are, then excellence does matter, but excellence doesn't have to be for everything, right? It doesn't. So it's deciding on purpose where excellence actually does matter and where good enough will be just fine. And so at some point, it's a good idea to start prioritizing what really matters. That is your kiss to keep it simple strategy. Prioritize what matters. And this isn't that hard. It's not that challenging, but it requires thought. And that's where a lot of us get tripped up because it's more thought, more effort, we think initially, which yes, but in the long run, you're actually saving time and saving energy, which allows you to do what you want to do in a shorter period of time. You got it? You're following me? Yeah, let's do it. So you just have to be willing to do it and not get trapped in the old habits that isolate you from what matters. Excellence or perfection, whatever you want to call it, can be an asset to your everyday, so long as you're okay with good is enough at times. And that's important for us to understand. Good can be enough for us. Now, I'm not saying that it's that saying of I'm not good enough or I am good enough. That's not what we're talking about here. Okay. We're talking about what you're doing, the tasks at hand. Okay. Like toilets, but we'll get that in a minute. So what does it look like in real life? Well, number one, sort your tasks by impact, not by urgency. Urgency screams the loudest. Look at me. Hello, I'm over here. Right? It just like screams, it wants your attention, but it isn't the same as importance. So before you start your day, look at your task and ask, if this were done at a good level instead of a perfect or excellent level, would anyone notice? Or would anything actually break? And if the answer is honestly no, that task doesn't need your best hours or your best energy, right? Save your excellence for the handful of things that truly move the needle, the ones tied to your goals, tied to your relationships or your reputation, right? Everything else can be handled competently and moved off your plate. So let's go to toilets here for a minute. I know, don't worry, it's not going to be a gross thing. But let's just say you're going to have some people over. Maybe it's for a business. Maybe it's for fun and family. Maybe it's just a get together with your church or community friends, whatever it is. People are coming over and you're like, I need 2 toilets clean, right? Your guest bathroom and maybe another one on the same floor, one on the upper floor, whatever it is. I need 2 toilets clean, but you have 5 in the house or 7 or 8, whatever it is. And you sit there and you clean the one toilet. It's like, oh, no big deal. Everything looks good, fast, great. You go to the second toilet, all of a sudden you got this little part that's like maybe a 1/4 of an inch part of the ring. It just doesn't want to scrub off. And you really don't want to go and get the goop stuff that you know will take it out. And you're like, I just need to get this done because I really need to do 5 other things, including prepping food and prepping drinks. And I need to vacuum and I need to finish dusting and I need to, do you see where I'm going with this? Do you think anybody's going to sit there and notice that 1/4 of an inch little part of the ring in your toilet? Nope, they're not. But let me tell you, someone of excellence can get really freaked out and all of a sudden you spend 30 minutes an hour, which it really only should have taken 5 minutes to go in, scrub the toilet, wipe down the area, make sure the mirrors doesn't look like you've got, at least when my kids were little, toothpaste splattered all over the mirror because for whatever reason, they have to look up at themselves when they spit out the toothpaste. We'll leave that one for another episode. But seriously, right? And so now all of a sudden, you've lost 30 minutes to an hour of something that should have only taken 5 minutes of your time. Yep, toilets are real. And it's crazy. So sort your tasks by impact, not by urgency. Number 2, ask, what's the real cost of perfect here? What's the real cost of excellence here? So before you polish something for the 5th time, I know you've been there. I've done it too. Oh my goodness. Pause and calculate the trade-off. Every extra hour spent perfecting a low-stakes task is an hour stolen from something that actually deserved your excellence. or from your own rest, right? It's stealing something from you. That means maybe you could have slept for another 45 minutes and not had to keep hitting snooze on the day that you really need to be up and doing things, right? What's the real cost? So give yourself permission to ask, is this a museum piece or a moving piece? I love this one. I have to ask myself this question all the time. So a museum piece is something people will study closely and remember. Okay. They're really looking at it with a detailed eye, a client proposal, a keynote, maybe a piece of writing with your name on it, like a podcast episode. Or maybe it's something you wrote up for your bank, or you're responding to your bank about something, or something like that, right? You've got something from your attorney or something from your physician, something like that. Yeah, it's a museum piece. You got to know what's in it. That deserves excellence. A moving piece just needs to get you to the next step. Maybe an internal email, right? A rough draft, a text, a first pass. That only needs to be good. Good is enough. So when you look at your list, look at it, is this a museum opportunity or a moving opportunity? A museum piece, a moving piece. I like to think of this as my dining room table as I see it right now. We're getting ready to relocate and we've had renovations and we've had oak tree and we've had, oh my goodness, there's just so many layers to this. And now we're getting ready to say, thank you so much for the house that you've given us. And now we're gifting that house to someone else and saying goodbye and moving on to our next season of life. And in doing so, we have this beautiful, humongous, because we have a large family, humongous dining room table. And in that dining room table, it's so interesting because it's one of those things where I leave the leaves in them all the time. And we had a piece of glass when we first bought this table, and we bought it, I kid you not, 20 years ago. This table is 20 years old. Oh, it's gorgeous. I love the table. But we have a piece of glass that was made for it. And we have moved so many times with that piece of glass. And it's always been that way. It's always had to be that length because I needed to be able to fit 7 people around our table comfortably. And then you add in just my mom and dad, or if you add in my mom and dad and my brother and sister and my niece, and then all of a sudden you start adding, and then we add my husband's side of the family. And I mean, all of a sudden I need like 12 to 20 seats. And I'm like, I need a big table. So I have a very big table. I'm telling you all this to tell you this part of it. I have it set with right now currently kind of a silvery gold type placemat. It's round and you can kind of see through it. So it's not solid. And it's kind of like this textured yarn type twist. Anyway, it is very pretty, but it's holy, as in like your fingers can go through it and stuff like that. Okay. Then I have chargers that are on top of that. And I haven't put on new napkins. I need to do that, but haven't gotten around to that. Anyway, they all have a place. So I think I have 10 settings on there right now. So I have 4 on either side and 2 on either end, or 1 on either end. And I can add on about another 4 to 6 people with this table. Anyway, if I was to remove that placemat and that charger, you're going to see a little ring there called, where it set. And that part's not dusty, but the ring is, you could see where the dust landed a little bit. Not a ton, but just a little bit. Do you think I really need to waste my time? I mean, do you think that's a museum piece or a moving piece? Okay, if I have people coming into my house and it's just like barely, you can see it. But the only reason why you would see it is if I take it off, you would see it. Yeah, it'd be a moving piece. No one's going to look at that. But if you come to my front door and I have a bird, like went to the bathroom there and there's leaving marks and then, something else happened and a hard rain, that's going to be a museum piece. Why? Because they're looking and staring it right in their face, waiting for me to open the door as I greet them. That needs more attention than my dining room table. Where do you give more attention to? What does it look like for your to-do list? Is it a museum piece or a moving piece? And finally, number 3, set a time limit before you start, not after you're stuck. Yeah. Time limit. I'm not real good at time limits. I have a task at hand and I want to complete it until it is done with excellence. I want it to be as close to perfect, which I don't use that word, by the way. That's why I said close to excellence. But often that overwhelm creeps in because a task has no boundary. And without a stopping point, good quietly turns into, let me just fix one more thing, just one more thing. And one more thing becomes an hour you didn't have. Kind of like what? The toilet. I know, you didn't think we were going back there, but we are. So before you begin a low priority task, decide in advance how much time it earns. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. And treat that limit as the finish line, not a suggestion. Don't sit there and say, I can do this a little. Nope, you get it done in the time frame that you're in and you move on. Right? Kind of complements the moving piece of things, not the museum piece. And when the timer's up, you're finished. Goodbye. Move on to the next. This one shift alone can free up hours of your week that used to disappear into invisible perfectionism. And it's easy for us to do. And it's not that we even feel guilty doing it. It's just that we do it. Why? Because we want to be there and we want to serve with excellence. Okay. Let me give you this example. Let's say you were going to your doctor. Okay. You weren't feeling well, whatever. Would you want your doctor to give you the lowest energy of attention or their best energy of attention? Yeah, we all know that. That's like a duh. Christiane, I know the answer. Of course we do. We want our physician to come in and give them the best of what they have to us. But if they're sitting here worried about a dining room table or a toilet, I'm not saying they are, but I'm using that because of the examples above, so just go with me here. And they're giving their best energy to that, and all of a sudden they do that in the morning and they come into work and now they're exhausted before it's even 8 o'clock. How fair is that to you as the patient? Oh no, you see what I mean? You see the power of where lowering the bar can come into play? My friend, lowering the bar isn't about lowering your standards for anything. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it slowly, and I want you to listen. Because I'm telling you, I have been here. And I have wrestled with this for decades. Okay, it's been ingrained in me to be perfection, to rise above whatever above is, to rise above the above, okay? Lowering the bar is not about lowering your standards for everything. It's about being honest with yourself about where excellence is actually required, and then giving yourself permission to let good be good enough everywhere else. If you're raising kids, don't you think they deserve your best energy? Yeah. But sometimes we put our best energy into our dinner dishes and dogs than we do our kids. Now, I would say, though, our dogs deserve a lot, so be kind to them. You can still put a lot of good energy into them, but sometimes our kids need more. But instead, we give it to our puppy dogs and not to our children. Do you see where this all goes? Do you see how this levels up or levels down? Look at it with your spouse. Are you going and giving everything you have to everybody else, but when you finally come home in the privacy of your own four walls, you sit down and you start to have a conversation, or your spouse wants your attention, and all of a sudden you're like, I can't give anymore. I'm done. At some point, you have to realize, where's my best energy served for what is a priority? What really matters? Because your best energy is a limited resource. Spend it where it counts and watch how much lighter and how much more productive your days will become. Go in peace, be present, be incredible, be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed day. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.